So our lesson for today is going to really be focusing on how to estimate decimal products. And so we're going to use estimation strategies of really looking at compatible numbers to help us find our the best estimate for um, the product. So the first problem I'm going to take a look at is on page 331, and it says the table shows ticket prices at a museum. About how much money would the school save by paying the group rate for 54 students and adults to visit the museum on a field trip rather than the regular rate? So the key word there that told me that it was going to be estimation was about. So anytime I see that word about, that tells me that I'm doing estimation and I do not need to find the exact answer. So the values that they gave were a total of 54 individuals going. And they want to know how much they're going to save between the group rate versus the regular rate. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the $8.95 and the $7.65, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to round them to the nearest whole number, or I'm going to round them to a value that's going to be near 54. So I'll start with eights. Eight, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to round to 9. So when I do 54 times 9, I can figure that out pretty easily. But to make it even easier, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take 54 and I'm just going to round that to make it even easier. And I'm going to take 54 and I'm going to round it to 50. And then the $7.65, I'm going to go ahead and use rounding again. I'm going to round that to the nearest whole number, which is going to be 8. And then I'm going to round this to 50. It's not an exact answer, but it'll tell me about how much money they will save. So I'm going to use my multiple of 10 rule. 5 times 9 is going to be 45. Put the 0 back on. 5 times 8 is going to be 40. Put the 0 back on. So looking at this, the regular cost is, or the regular rate's going to cost them around $450. The group rate's going to cost them around $400. So they would save about $50 by using the group rate. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at another problem. So the next one that we look at is at the top of page 332, and it says the students of Waldron Middle School are selling tins of popcorn to raise money for new uniforms. They sold 42 tins in the first week. About how much money did they make that first week? So I'll go ahead and I'm going to set up the problem solving frame. So I have that to use. So here's what I know. They are going to sell 42 tins in a week. So again, I'm starting with what I know. They're going to do 42 tins in a week. And then each tin was $9.25 a tin. What do I need to find? Is I need to find the estimate of profit because it said about. So my keyword there was about. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to use compatible numbers. And multiply. Okay. So the compatible numbers that I'm going to do is I'm going to take $9.25 and I'm just going to take that value and I'm going to go to the nearest whole number, which is going to be 9. And then 42, I am going to find a value that's near 42. That's going to be easy to multiply. In this case, I'm going to use rounding. So I'm going to do 40 times 9. And so again, if I use that multiple of 10 rule, 4 times 9 is going to be 36. I put on a 0. So this one right here, my answer there would be rounding. They raised about $360. If I did compatible numbers, I may say I'm going to keep 42 by itself, and I'm going to take $9.25 and change it to 10 because anything multiplied by a power of 10 is going to be easy. On this case, all I do is add a 0. And so they made $420. So they made between $360 and $420 in the first week. The argument that you would have is which one of these would be the best estimate, the rounding or the compatible numbers. Well, the rounding, $9 is closer to $9.25 than $10 is. It's 25 cents away. $10 is 75 cents away. but the 42 didn't change. So my compatible number is actually going to be the best estimate because the two values are closer to the original amounts than the 40 times 9. So when we are doing our estimations of products, you're always going to want to shoot for that best estimate. Sometimes it's going to be rounding, sometimes it's going to be compatible numbers, but you always want to shoot for the best estimate of numbers. Okay. Take a look at the convince me on the bottom of the page. It says Sam wants to buy 3 popcorn tins for his family. So I'm just going to write down 3 tins and 4 tins to give as a gift. Okay. He has 3 $20 bills. So I'm just writing down what I know, and 1 $10 bill. Estimate the total cost of the popcorn tins to find whether or not Sam has enough money to pay for them. So I need to estimate total cost. That's the first thing I need to do. And then I need to find if Sam has enough money. Okay, I'm going to do this by multiplying cost of tin with number of tins as an estimate. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract my bills from there. So let's go ahead and let's do this. So first thing I'm going to do is he needs a total of 7 tins, and they cost $9.25 each. So I'm just going to do 7. I'm going to multiply that by 10. I'm going to use a compatible number. And so it's going to cost about $70. He had 3 $20 bills and 1 $10 bills. And what I want to know is if he is going to have enough money. And so this amount right here is going to be $70. So if my estimate is $70 and he has $70, he will have enough money. And I know that he has enough money because we did an overestimate, because $70 and we want an overestimate when it comes to money because we want to make sure that we have enough money. This is not a situation where we want to over or where we would want to estimate. We definitely want to overestimate and not underestimate when it comes to money. We want to make sure we have enough money, not less money. So he does have enough money because this $10 was greater than $9.25. So it was an overestimate. All right, so let's take a look at number 1. It says, which method is easier to use to estimate the amount of money the students will raise from page 322 if they sell 100 tins of popcorn? So if I have 100 tins of popcorn times $9.25, which method's going to be the best? And I'm going to actually say that compatible is going to be the best estimate to use here because it's going to be faster. Because I don't know what 112 times 9 is. So if I did rounding, or I did 110 times 9, I guess if I rounded both of them, I could find that pretty easily. But I can really easily find 112 times 10 because all I have to do is add a 0 after that. Okay. So compatible numbers in this case were going to be easier to use. And then if we take a look at number 2, it says in the examples above, selling popcorn, are the estimates overestimates or underestimates? Explain. So when we looked at rounding, we'll just go to this problem. I had 783 times 3.8, and they rounded both to the nearest whole number. So this was 8 times 4, and so I have 32. And then compatible numbers, I had 44.3 times 6.71. And the compatible numbers were, I left 6 alone. And then I don't know what 44 times 6 is, but 50 is near that. And I know what that math fact is. That's going to be equal to 300. So let's take a look and see which is going to be a compatible number and which is going to be or which is going to be an overestimate and underestimate. Here I rounded both values up. So this is going to actually be an overestimate because both values went up. And then for 44 and 3/10 times 6.71, this is also going to be an overestimate because, again, I rounded up both values. Okay. Alrighty, let's take a look at some of the estimation skills. Again, you're really going to want to make sure that you show your estimations for the different problems. So I will write the problems on and then we'll go through them. Times 53. I am going to use compatible numbers for this one. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and round 6.8 to the nearest whole number. I don't know what 7 times 53 is, but I do know what 7 times 50 is. And so when I do 7 times 50, that is going to be 350. So again, showing your estimate, showing your thinking of how you found your estimate. Next one I have 518 times 6.82. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to round it to the nearest whole number. It's really nice with decimals, especially small decimals, to go ahead and just round them to the nearest whole number and then find a value that I want to change this number to. So I don't want to multiply 518 times 7. I don't know what that is. I don't want to do 520 times 7. I want estimations to be really, really quick and easy. And so on here, I just have to add 2 zeros to my answer of 5 times 7. Okay, 65.13 times 2.89. So I'm going to round you to 3. 65, I am going to round, actually, I'm going to round, keep it at 65 because I can figure that out pretty quickly. So 5 times 3 is going to be 15, and then 3 times 6 is going to be 18, plus that 1 is going to be 19 for 195. Okay, 2,386.25 times 40.1. I'm going to take the 40 and leave that alone, and then I'm going to multiply, take this value, and I'm going to round this value to the nearest 100. So I'm going to do 2,400 times 40. And the reason that I did that was 24 is a math fact that I know. 2,000 would have been too low, 3,000 would have been too high. So I went to the nearest 100. So 2,400 times 40, and that's going to equal, well, 24 times 4 is going to be 96. And then I add on my 3 zeros at the end. So it's going to be 96,000. Okay. 9.34 times 0.68. So I'm just going to do 9 times a half here because I don't want to round it up to 1. That's going to be too big of a jump, but I can multiply it by half. And when I multiply things by half, we know that we really just divide by 2. So it's going to be equal to 4.5. And then we have 35 and 7/10 multiplied by 8 and 9/10. So I'm going to round this guy to 10, use a compatible number there. And then 35.7, I'm going to round to the nearest whole number, and I'm going to get 360. So again, today when you guys are doing your work with estimating products, you need to make sure that you include your equation for your estimation. So what 2 values did you round or use compatible numbers, and then what was your final estimation? So I'd like for you to, on 9 through 16, I'd like for you to do 10 through 16 even. And then on your math practices and problem solving, I would like for you to do problem 18, and I would like for you to do 19. So 18, I'll just do it this way, 18 through 21 all. Okay.